Good afternoon, everybody. Do you feel empowered? Well, that didn't come too well, so I suggest that we try to push the limits from where actually David started. And I ask you to join me in a sing-along that you'd repeat after me the following things. So I take half a minute of this pitch, if I may. So please repeat after me. Naturaleza. We are building movement. Mikasa Itsukasa. Ualua ula ualue. Well, that's empowerment. Let's go there. Woohoo! Okay, so my subject today, how to empower people in their homes. A couple of words about us, Fira. We are a group of about 350 people now. You might have seen me, Eelis Rytkönen, Tuomas Norri in the audience, Marjut Vahos in the audience, and Tomi Pitkäranta here today. We are a construction company that is fastly growing. I came in 2.5 years ago. I was number 197, and we are about 350 now. So we are very fastly growing, and we have amazing people at our service. What I'd like you to think about at this point in time, does any of you know how much you have consumed today after the wake-up call?
Yes.
You know?
Connected watch.
That's cool. Because I suggest that there might be a problem if you're not able to react to our consumption. On the agenda, actually, I'll tell you a couple of words of Fira in intro, then I'll introduce the challenge, and then go deeper into the technologies and data that we already have to serve the startups or the teams that will come collaborate with us in the challenge. So, as we all know, in 2050 there will be 3 billion more people in the cities than today. And this sets us quite a challenge in terms of energy consumption. For us in Fira, in comparison to other companies, we try to focus, and we actually are walking the talk in a sense, for building user-centric planning and functional living environment. So we usually tend to take the users with us to think about what would be the future like. A shift from concrete-centric thinking towards user-centricity has actually been a cornerstone in our thing. So that's why we also want the challenge to be such that it would empower people somehow. And we collaborate for people to live. We want to maximize and give the power to the people, basically. And there's still some, in light of numbers, how we've grown. So first we focused on basically concrete and how we can do stuff out of concrete. Then we started to listen to the customers, and now we're focusing on the people. So switching from the B2B side towards the P2P or B2C side. Going forward to the challenge. So we are looking for visual solutions that would motivate home users to act sustainably. What I'm going to introduce you here is a smart vac unit and a IoT sensor bundle that sets data into the cloud. But in addition to that, we would need some sort of a user interface that would remind the people on how they are doing. So basically, we always say that buildings are the largest energy consumers. If we look at the energy consumption worldwide, buildings are about 41% of it, which is divided to heating and cooling 85, electricity 15. And the question is, what can we do as single human beings, individuals? And the challenge that we are inviting the people to cope with and help us out is that the people need, as a hypothesis, need tools and reminders and incentives to understand the impacts of their daily behavior. And Nest is a good example of that. As said, available technologies that we are bringing all the time to the market. So as we are constructing our sites, we test the smart services and softwares at our sites and then try to scale them to the international markets. There's the smart prefab vac unit, IoT-sensored home automation, and geothermal energy by Q-Heat. But we claim that there is no standard that would make the home consumption data visible, understandable, and easy to react to. Running to the technologies and data, what we are trying to do at Fira is trying to do the same as happened to the car industry years ago and make it sort of modular, like an assembly kit where people can choose what they want for their own home. The first concrete example of that is a hard-off for the apartment. So a vac unit that has all the smartness in it already as it's assembled or already as it's put on its right place. And we are making it modular. So we do this not on site, but at the industrial halls where we can make it modular and so produce it in a much more efficient and qualityful manner. And just to show you that we have done already some of this, we could put the video on. Does it start from here? So that's how we are installing the units in the first test centers or on site. And by the time it's installed there, already 50% of the inside work has been done, so that we don't need that much piping anymore after that. And here's the description how we basically are doing it, as was before. And now we are searching for some wow effects to usability, intelligence, and design. So we yet don't have them. We already have it for the production. We don't yet have it for the people. The data we are able to collect now in the unit are features such as water, air, heat, structure, energy, and basically whatever other sensor that could come in there. And we are putting it with one of our partners with IoT Flow. We can do it in the cloud and collect everything there so that the production gets ideas and the back end gets ideas of how people are consuming. And the suggestion is that the building becomes, through these sorts of activities, an active participant in all of our everyday lives. So my question is, how could you guys help us in empowering people for a more sustainable living? Please come and join the building movement, contact companies, challenge, and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eelis. We are helping Fira in order to find the innovations and startups who could help and work together with Fira. This event is part of that exercise, and the challenge has also been opened today, and it's open till the end of September, and you can access that via the event website and the Clubinia Innovation Call platform, which we run for companies like Fira. But hey, let's move to a second part of this hour, namely the deal flow session. And deal flow, which corresponds to the challenge Fira has right now launched. We'll have the investor jury sitting as in the other deal flow sessions. Eelis will be one of the investor jury members. Then two others will join. Charles Vaslet from Emerald Ventures. Please welcome Charles as well. And Teppo Havo from Danske Bank also joins the investor jury. And we have three companies presenting from three countries, Sweden, Estonia, and Finland. And I think we start with SmartVent from Estonia. Give a big hand. Okay, thanks.
Hi, hello. Hello. Mic is working. I might have to start with an apology that I'm not going to talk about smart homes as such. Maybe smart buildings, but due to some miscommunication, I'm here. Anyway, hello everyone. I'm Josep. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SmartVent. I'd like you to think about the last time you were in a meeting room, when the air was so stuffy that you got a headache, or the last conference where the air quality was so bad that you started to feel claustrophobic. We've all been there. But it's weird because the last decade has seen wonderful improvements in indoor climate hardware. But I'll tell you, the software that tells all these devices what to do usually looks and acts something like this. Or if you paid a lot of money for it, then you'd maybe get something like this. So yes, people are figuratively running Windows 95 on their brand new iPad. But what are we doing differently then? Let's consider John. John's a facility manager of a real estate company, and he often gets angry calls and emails from the tenants who are telling him that it's too hot or too cold in their office. And then if he wants to go and make some changes in his building management software, he can do it in a cellar behind one computer in one room. So how do we help him? We allow him to access our platform from any device anywhere in the world. And we give the tenants a way to give feedback in a way that's actionable. And the best part, the energy bills are lower. And just by delivering these basic features, we help John avoid this stuffy situation. However, we know that the future lies in controlling buildings in the most intelligent way possible. And that's why our roadmap includes implementing predictive control algorithms and making our integrations into buildings more faster. We do have a unique value proposition in Europe, but there are similar startup companies in the world doing similar things. Our business model is real simple. We charge based on the area of the building, and right now it's €1 per square meter per year. And we're already working with quite a bit few names in the Baltic region. We have 4 pilots running, and we want to get that number up to 10 by the end of this summer. And by the end of this year, we want to grow from 4,000 square meters of controlled space to up to 40,000 and reach a monthly recurring revenue of €3,000. And the market size just in Europe in the field of office spaces is 2 billion square meters. And as NASA announced something, I think it was the beginning of last week, we're already working on a go-to-market strategy to Mars. We're a team of 5 young people. We know each other for 6 years already. And we actually started working on this problem in college. But starting from this year, we're all full-time. And since then, we were accepted to Startup Wise Guys Accelerator as the youngest team in their history. But this fall, we want to raise a pre-seed funding round of €150,000. So I'd be happy to talk to anyone after the conference. Sorry, after my pitch. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to answering your guys' questions.
Thanks, Josep. Yeah. I don't think it was misunderstanding at all. I think that was a perfect pitch related to the topic anyway. Thanks for that. Let's move to the investor jury questions. Who wants to start?
Okay, it's Charles here. It's all about John, right? So how do you convince John to make this investment? What's in it for him? That's my first question. And then what channel partners do you need to really multiply this?
Thank you very much. Very, very good questions. I'm going to start with the first one then. We don't actually convince John. We convince John's boss, so to say. John's more of a gatekeeper in this process. John gets a lot of value out of it. But the main values that we go to the company owners with are the facts that the real estate becomes more valuable. They will have to spend less on maintenance fees, and then ending up with the energy efficiency part. And the second question, what kind of channel partners? This is a really good question. We're actually looking for partnerships in various different fields, starting from hardware manufacturers, ventilation units to industrial controller manufacturers, then up to traditional automation providers who are able to deliver on-site work in various countries then to where we want to deploy this is because the existing hardware solutions in the buildings are still not capable of cloud integrations.
Okay, continuing on distribution and marketing a little bit there. How you are planning to reach your target segments?
Thank you. Again, a really good question. I think it was some company from Dealflow 4 who mentioned that the real estate market is still, so to say, really conservative, and it's more like who do you know, not how good Facebook or LinkedIn ads you're able to produce. So it's all about trade shows, it's all about word of mouth marketing, and it's all about finding the right real estate companies, so to say, so the larger real estate companies who are thinking innovatively and where we can start from one building and then expand to their portfolio of tens and hundreds of buildings.
Thank you, Joseph, for a great pitch. I'd like to ask you, you had an example of the office spaces, so have you considered housing as one of the opportunities to move towards, and how would that sort of interface work for the people who live in their homes?
Thank you. That's a really good question again. Yes, we have considered. The main reason why we have stayed away from housing or then large blocks of flats mainly is the fact that there we're not speaking to one client, but 70 or 80 or 150, so to say. But yes, it would kind of work really well over there. Because there usually is someone who is responsible for the technical systems in the building, whether it's some kind of a apartment building organization they have formed themselves, or they have hired a company to do that. And then definitely the kind of like the overview for the tenants in the flats, for example, is also kind of like valuable as people get more tech savvy and want to get a hold of what's happening in their apartment and how they can save more, basically. So yeah.
We might be able to offer you some sort of test bed for that, so let's talk more.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk more afterwards.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks a lot,
Thank you very much,
Joseph, for a great pitch. And I do hope that you are not taking the ferry right after to Tallinn after this presentation. I think you will have interesting discussions later in the evening with the folks here. I hope so. Okay, next company on stage is from Sweden, Tempiro. The floor is yours.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Sounds like you can hear me. I'm Magnus from Tempiro in Sweden, and I'm going to talk to you about our $2.8 billion market. But first, start small. Our very first trial customer, Martin, he had a problem. He has a holiday home out in the woods. He really loves it, but when he goes there in the wintertime, he arrives to a really cold house since he's turned down the heating. And he was looking for a solution that just could allow him to remotely control his heating. And Nest is a great product, as we heard, but it doesn't fit well with old Scandinavian electronic heating system, I can tell you. So it was not until he met us that he found a really good solution that he could install easily. But then we realized Martin also has a home where he's using a lot of energy and wasting energy, to be honest. Like we heard about Nest, you set the thermostat to the same temperature, you leave it at that level all year round. We don't even have programmable thermostats here. But there are other large devices, appliances in your home, like air conditioning, pool heaters, saunas, other large energy-consuming devices that you have no smart control of today, because it's quite hard to install something. And we surveyed people like him who would say, and 40% of these said they would actually pay for a solution to this. So what do we do, actually? Well, we make some unique hardware that you can easily install. The version we have now goes into a traditional Scandinavian fuse box. The customer can install it by himself, herself, plug-and-play installation, and it can control really anything from the fuse box. It can turn your heating on and off, AC, hot water saunas, and we have an easy app where you just set what you want to have as a comfort when you're in the house, and otherwise we minimize your energy usage. But as this is rather aimed at Scandinavian homes, we're also thinking about the world market. And for these, modern fuse boxes, circuit breakers we call them, you flip a switch that you can reset if the fuse blows. So we're developing an add-on unit to these, so we can easily integrate this technology into any house in the world. This product we're launching on the market this autumn, but for the breaker box, we're working on early trials right now. And, well, back to these $2.8 billion. Well, I could just say, Nest has done fairly well with their market. We're going for a similar market, but different houses. And the market penetration is actually still really low in the world, especially in Europe and in Asia. And we have a vision of making these really cheap and easy to install, so they could go into like a house in India where you need to turn down or regulate fans and air conditioning. We have a great team. We are 3 co-founders. I have 15 years background in the energy business. I have a full stack developer and a hardware guy for 10 years from Ericsson working together with me. And then we have some resources in development, testing, and marketing. And we basically looking for our first investment. We have taken this so far with our own funding. And we're asking for 150,000 euro. This is mainly to go into our market launch that we're planning together with E.ON, one of the largest energy utilities in Europe, and also for the further development of the breaker fuse solution. So I'm Magnus at tempiro.com, so please send me an email if you're interested. Thank you very much.
And in addition to the email, before that, talk to Magnus.
Yes, definitely.
Very good. Thanks a lot for that. Let's move on to investor jury questions.
All righty. Thank you very much, Magnus, for a great presentation. I'm not sure whether I missed it, or did you open up the revenue logic somehow? So how are you going to take your...
Well, yeah. I didn't. You didn't miss it. I didn't talk too much about it.
Well, that's good. That's not the most important thing, but still.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So it's well, we're starting out with something fairly simple. We have a starter kit with a few of these, a thermostat. We can ship it directly to the customer, 250 euro. We have a 50% margin on that, and then for a lot of these customers, especially the ones with the holiday homes, we have a recurring revenue model when they want a 3G connection that we provide.
All righty, thank you.
Yeah, Magnus, thanks for a good presentation. And it's really good to hear that you're working with like a utility like E.ON. How did you persuade them to work with you, and how can you persuade others to work with you?
Yes, well, we have a background. We went through, actually, E.ON runs an Accelerator program, so we ran through that. I actually worked between 5 and 10 years at E.ON, so I have a good connection there. That helps. And actually, energy utilities today, they are really asking for products like these because they can see their standard market going down with less volume. People maybe want to go into island mode, so they need to provide new services. And for them, anything that is smart home, smart energy is of great interest. So, of course, there's competition. So we have to prove ourselves that we do something differently than the others. But then I think it's an open road.
Thanks on my behalf also, and thanks guys for taking all my questions. So basically, what's your main target segment? meaning the housing types. You were talking about summer houses, and then you were talking about houses. What's the real target segment for you guys?
Yeah, so actually we see it as currently we have two use cases. We have one which is the holiday home market, where we see it's easiest to do business, because there we have people approaching us and there's a lot of pull there. They have a real pain that they want to address. But then we see it as a second use case to go into standard houses like Nest have done, but since we don't yet have the access to the budget that Nest have, you need a lot of marketing to reach the broader audience in their homes, to really make them understand the benefits of this, the 20% reduced energy, what's it worth. But we think we can achieve that when we go through channels like E.ON.
So one more question here. How big you estimate the market to be right now?
Well, so I'm saying $2.8 billion is of course the worldwide market, and we rather look at, addressable market. In Scandinavia, we have about 1 million holiday homes with electric heating, and we have about 2 million houses with normal houses with electrical heating. So just in Scandinavia, we see 3 million units as an easily addressable market, and then we want to expand from Scandinavia to Baltics and Eastern Europe.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's move on and give a big hand to Magnus.
Thank you.
Fourdeg is the next one pitching for you.
Yep, hello, can you hear me? So yeah, I'm Markku from Fourdeg, one of the founders and CEO. So it's fantastic being in Lahti, so I'm far from Helsinki, so 1 hour delta, almost my hometown here. Fourdeg is a specialized company concentrating on the water heating, making it efficient. So we are currently in sales already, so we have done about 200,000 worth of sales in our domestic markets. We have found out the reason why customers are buying from us, because they want to have better heating in terms of the energy efficiency, but also for the quality what they are providing for the people inside the buildings. We are also having a sales channel, so like what we have as a startup, finalizing the startup phase, repeatable, profitable business model with some sales channel. So we are looking for a round, be prepared. Fourdeg was selected to be the climate solver by WWF this spring. Why? Because there's way over 1 billion water radiators in the globe, and they are kept warm not by the sun, but by burning something. And they are generating huge amount of CO2, so it's vitally important that we are taking good care about the efficiency. So not stop the burning, but making it efficient. So that's what we are doing. What kind of results we have? These are kind of some of the buildings what we have done in our domestic markets. So we have saved energy between 10 and 33% in the real life buildings. So it seems that it's worth doing. We are mainly doing retrofits. We could do new buildings, but we are considering retrofits at the moment, mainly working on hotels, offices, schools and such. We have also done residential, but not like pushed heavily for that yet. What we are doing, so we are not a hardware company. So David has already done a fantastic device. So we are buying device, not unfortunately your device, but from somebody else, and then making it smart by connecting it to our server that learns the heating function of each device, and then we can provide the predictive heating for each and every room, not only for the building on average, but for every room. And that is a kind of revolution for the water-based heating stuff, especially in Scandinavian markets. We've got EU patent for the system and the method, and another system for the demand response for the district heating. So what happens in the building? So the building in the below you are seeing starting point, it was too cold, people were complaining. what we could do, automatically balance the heating. It was good for everybody, and then people could adjust in the reasonable limits. And then we could also localize trouble from the system, meaning stuck valves and such, that not all the valves need to be changed, but only the broken ones. So the building owner was very happy, not because he saved lots of energy, but because he could provide better conditions for the people. Another view is a kind of top view from this building, office building. During evenings, there was no purpose to keep it in a normal temperature, that you can reduce it a little bit. So that's the kind of thing that you can safely do, because we learn automatically to predict how soon it needs to be taken back to be comfortable once again when the air conditioning starts, and it needs to be in a kind of normal condition. So getting, once again, efficiency and good conditions for people. So it's not free lunch to save CO2, it's paid lunch. Because there's a business case, the building owners get the money back in a few years, typically between 2 and 6. So about 3 is roughly the normal one, and they got IRR. They also get lots of good stuff for the staff working efficiently inside the buildings in a better indoor conditions, and also the maintenance gets much more efficient because there are less complaints. If there are complaints, people can remotely control, or then if they need to go there, they need to go exactly where and why. We got also some stuff about this demand response. You may ask about this. Let's skip this one. Let's talk about the business model. So we started by direct sales to the building owners, and they started to buy. What did we do next? Because we are lazy, we wanted somebody else to also do the sales. Well, it's very expensive for lots of people. We are not lazy. So we noticed that actually the property management companies already have customers are providing a service that can be now done better, both in terms of the quality, but also in the terms of cost. So we're currently in co-sales together with a few listed companies in Finnish markets. So those are there. We're also dealing with energy companies. They want to turn to service companies, energy service companies, and these guys have let us to show the logos. Somebody else is also working with us. The property management seems to be faster in sales. Energy companies are big, but not that fast. Our customers are like big stuff. What we are looking here, very briefly, 2 million euros around. With that, we will grow from Finland to selected other markets in EU. So we have done pilots in Sweden, Germany, and China. We believe that it would be obviously some countries in EU where we have contacts. That's it basically. My name is Markku. Thank you.
Okay, go on.
And now I'm the first one. I just hoped that I would have a good question for you. But let's talk about your current situation a little bit. How quickly are you growing at the moment?
Yeah, so we are currently selling about 20,000 a month, and we are raising it by the end of the year to about between 60 and 80,000 a month level. So that's roughly the speed. We would like to stop that and grow faster.
Marco, thanks for a great presentation. I commend you for your focus on other things than energy efficiency savings. I think I have been in this industry so long, and even though the paybacks are incredibly fast, it's a difficult sell. If you focus on comfort, productivity, quality, and how you improve the control of those, I think you're right that it's the business angle which drives the sales, and the result of this obviously is the energy savings, etc., etc. So I don't have a question, but I commend you on your approach. Keep focused on that. I think you will see sales increase.
Yeah, thank you. Our customers are telling exactly the same thing, so that seems to be fully agree.
Thank you, Markku. I was again thinking about like how do the people actually react to like what's there if there's an individual user of a space, what's their sort of interface that they can get motivated by the whole thing.
Yeah, okay, so there would be lots of stories. So let me pick perhaps one that I showed about this rental apartment building. So like it's a social building. It's not for richest is for the poorest people there. So, and it's typical that the city pays for their rents. So like it's not a question about the money. So, so we did it together with Demos Helsinki and the owner of the building, Ysäätiö. So what happened that in the starting phase we asked about people about their feelings about the heating. They said that it's a bit coldish. Then we measured, it was damn cold. So then people started to understand that they can have an impact, they can select. So then they started to have opinions. So that 2/3 of the people living there had an opinion about their comfort temperature. It was not only like having as warm as possible, but it was a nice division between 18 degrees to 23 degrees. And then people were delivered that. So they were happy. And the next thing what they started to ask is that how could they kind of control. In the first phase, we had this kind of fancy app that they could kind of pick and do stuff, but they hated that. So people don't want to get more trouble to their life, but they want to get automation. So then we provided, you give your opinion and we take care about the program. And then we also provided this kind of manual thing that they can change it from the thermostat, which they've used to do. With that, we then found this kind of a situation that people were responsible for the ecological terms. About 5% of people wanted to have this kind of eco mode, and then this kind of nice division between 18 and 23, and then the rest in a 21.5 degrees. So if you give people empower them to do things, so they will start to do things. People are much more responsible than we would thought. So that was my learning from that one. There would be a zillion other stories which can have over a nice glass of water.
Or a beer or something.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.